Do you have any intentions on doing anything else to this thing, or is it just good to go?
I really just love it how it is, and
yeah.
I don't think that I have any reason to change this for the next 10 years.
So this is Stefan's Baja Bug. What year is that thing?
65, and it's about 700 crank horsepower, about 550 wheel horsepower.
This scoop I built for Stefan. I brought a T-handle to take the quarter turns off of this thing so you can see underneath and see the airflow and the inner workings.
No working today, Morgan.
Already done that. So you guys can see roof scoop's off now. I just wanted to show the ducting because it's pretty substantial. And that whole thing zips into the cooler. It's in the back. Also have a power steering cooler in here. Have your filler for your radiator and the power steering filler down there from Pro-Am. So there's more workings than just a cool looking roof scoop. And it's fully functional. And then I saw this too, Stefan, like I like how you have your quick release pin in here.
Come over to the other side.
Okay.
So we got the gas filler there behind the glass.
There
Basically,
we go.
when this comes out, you go right here and you hit this switch, this aircraft switch, and it puts the fuel sending unit to this fuel display, so that way you can not overflow it.
For sure. So that's your indicator when you're filling up to let you know that you're not going to back this thing out and spill gas.
Then you just put your fuel in there and then turn it back to the dash.
Yep. And then this also gives you service on your shocks.
Yeah, if you need to tune them. But Keith Marigold has had these shocks off like 4 times.
Yeah.
And he has them so dialed, so I haven't had to touch them for a long time.
Whoa!
No way!
Keith Marigold is KDM Shock Technologies.
Yeah.
These are Fox. It looks like a 2.5 bypass and then a 2-inch coilover, dual rate. And then the front is a single.
Yeah,
single 2.5.
It's an internal bypass, so it gave us a lot more leeway and really provided a lot more functionality.
Yep.
Really changed the way it drives.
And then your battery's mounted up there. Looks like you have an Odyssey in there.
Yeah, it's lightweight and it works well. It's never let me down.
Kind of the go-to for off-road cars.
Then Evan, he put in a sway bar here at Evan Weller Racing. Scott did most of the work, and just did a really great job. And it kind of allows you to do things that usually you wouldn't without the car flipping over.
Yeah, and I remember when this was being built, this is super tight packaging in there. It was kind of like, you know, I've said before, some of the components on these cars, they only fit in one spot. And that sway bar is kind of, that's the one spot that it fit.
What it allows you to do though is come down into the side of a sand dune and turn up, and it'll tighten up and allow you just to go right back up, where before it would lift a wheel when you're turning.
Much more drivability out of it.
Yeah, we had belt issues before, so we put this front runner system on here, and it holds the belt really, really nicely and runs real smooth. And it's all one kit that you can buy. It's nice and clean and it works well. CBM did that.
And then we did that panel back there. I think that was part of the roof scoop program, is redoing that panel.
Yeah, it was, and then I think Scott at EWR redid all the
side guys,
and put the
that poly mesh.
Yeah, it allows it to breathe, but it still keeps it looking nice and keeps everything tailored up.
Just for some of the guys building stuff at home, this poly mesh, I call it poly because it obviously has a polygon shape, but that's available at McNichols.
Yeah, exactly. You can order a sheet of it, and then you can just cut it to how you would like to cut it, and you mount it with these little washer on the back.
Yep.
Some Loctite so it doesn't come loose.
Yeah, I mean, some of this stuff, like I use McMaster Car for some of the mesh, but you know, this special poly stuff is pretty cool, and they have different sizes and different thicknesses. And I remember Stefan uses McNichols ink.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, McNichols.
So if you guys search for that and you want to get on the mesh program for your panels, that's a go-to place.
Of different ones, and they'll also make them for you.
Yeah,
if you want.
It's awesome.
This is kind of fun. We put this light on here, one to be seen, but really what it does that's cool is in the sand, it lights up the entire roost. So the roost is real big, and then it lights it all up yellow, which is a lot of fun.
Evan did all the hard lines on here. All the coolant lines are hard lines, so instead of being just soft rubber hose through there, you just have your coupler, and then you have all of your hard line, aluminum hard line, going all the way through.
The biggest thing is just tailoring up all the wires, making sure everything's run perfectly clean and correct. And they spend a lot of time and focus on just getting it all right, and that took a while. But if you notice, every single nut and bolt has a mark on it, so where you can visually see if something's coming loose or not.
Yeah, and it's also to sign off when they're assembling the car. That lets them sign off that they've already hit that spot, you know, and they can check that one off the list.
It's good to know because I like how it works.
Yep.
This is the GPS antenna. There's an app called Lead Nav that I use that tells you your speed and it tells you your direction, and it also tells you set points out in the sand dunes or in the desert, wherever you're at, and it gives you a red indicator that you can glance down and see that's always pointing the way you're supposed to be going.
Let's touch back on that screen inside. So what is that screen?
So this is actually an iPad that is fit to the dash. And then here's, you can go to whatever you like. So when you're driving, you can go ahead and use Pandora if you want to, or any of your normal apps. On the way here, I was using the standard city driving app, and then this one that controls the different lights and stuff in the car.
Yeah, so that was a Switch Pros app.
Yeah, exactly. So you have the hard button here.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to, you can use this one and it'll turn lights on and off also. But the main thing that I like the most about this is this one.
Yeah, so that's your compass there?
And it uses this GPS for the satellite signal. Yeah, so if you're at camp and you want to go to Oldsmobile Hill, let's say, it's always just pointing straight when you're headed in the right direction, so you can glance and see, and then it tells your speed.
Yeah, so you set it in there and then it's telling you where you need to go.
Yeah, if you know you like a certain jump at 52 miles an hour, you could just hit it the exact same way, just glancing down. It's pretty nice.
Yep.
Or whatever you want to use it for, speeding on the freeway.
What are you using for electronics in here for engine management?
This main display right here, we've used this before. It works pretty good. There's some that may be better on the market, but it just fits so perfect in the dash that we decided just to go with it.
What brand is that?
Is it called Multipack?
Multipack.
I think so. I'm not really certain, but it gives you a shift light here when it's time to shift, which is pretty nice.
And then that's your standard Switch Pro right there.
Yeah.
So you have your hard Switch Pro and your digital Switch Pro.
Exactly, and I usually just use this one.
Yeah.
And then this is nice when you have to answer the phone, you just go ahead and hit the button and it picks up. And then if the navigation is talking to you about which way to turn, comes through in the headsets.
Yep.
Which is pretty cool. So it really makes it nice and functional to drive.
Yeah, and it's so simple. I mean, everything's just super buttoned up. When you open the thing up, you can smell you know, a really rich upholstery smell. I don't know if that's just the glue or
it's from the
materials.
Carpet, the 2020 Rolls-Royce carpet.
Okay.
My Rolls-Royce triple black.
Now, did you specify that, or did they just put that in when you got the interior done?
That's what we specified. It's just, it has a really heavy thread count.
Gotcha.
It feels nice on your feet and it looks cool, and then the sand just blows out of it, so it's not too bad to use.
Who did the upholstery?
Timeless Customs. It's a place in Camarillo, and they build world-class hot rods, all sorts of amazing things. Great attention to detail.
Yeah, the whole thing is just I mean, do you have any more intentions on doing anything else to this thing, or is it just good to go?
No, I really just love it how it is. I mean, I rarely keep a car for more than a year or two, and I don't think that I have any reason to change this for the next 10 years. I couldn't imagine having a car without air conditioning in the dunes.
Sure.
The first time I drove it, like a high-performance sand car, which is how it operates with the air conditioning, it just blew my mind. And then you just step out of it and you don't have to climb over anything. So really a fun car to drive.
Well, we came out to LA. I think the intention was to go do some shots going through downtown. Do you want to go through the motions of starting this thing up and get in there and show us your program?
Yeah, sure. So this transmission is sequential, which means that it doesn't go first, second, third, fourth. It's just all straight. So when you want to grab another gear, you just pull back and grab another gear. So
similar to like a motorcycle.
This button, typically when you hit it, it turns on the fuel pump, gets everything engaged and starting, and then you just hit the start button. Uh-oh.
Houston, we have a problem.
That's always how it goes. Thanks, guys. See, in LA, they got bigger fish to fry, bro. Shout out to LAPD for being like so chill and so cool today. Thank you so much, man, for the opportunity to work with us today. It's amazing. The contrast of this thing in LA has just been beautiful, man, and everybody seems to really enjoy it. All right, brother, have a good one. Thank you.